All right, so there is a final thing to spawn the player, and we have to possess the player. So if you actually click on this, you're actually spawning the player, but you cannot see the player in the level because you have to possess the player as well. So if you drag from this player pawn, remember we already made an interface for the player base. So you can drag from this player pawn and say get player reference. We already made that blueprint interface. And now you can drag from this player and say possess. So you have to possess the player in order to control that player. So go ahead and compile everything now and let us click on play. And if you click on the terrorist now you can see you can actually possess this counter terrorist. However, there is still this UI in front of us and we need to remove it. The UI is run through the client. So when you work with UI, you are working inside of the client. So now instead of doing it here, let's right click and make a new custom event and run it through the client now, spawn player. I'm just going to call it client spawn player so I know it is connected to this one. I'm going to click on it, go ahead and run on owning client, reliable, and let us run it through here as well. So CL spawn player. So for this one down here right now, I just want to remember we called it show hide widget. So we can come down here and say show hide widget and select it here. And now we can select the team selection and this one unticked. So now it's going to hide the UI for the players. So let's go ahead and compile and click on play and let us select, for example, the counter terrorist. And now you can see we are inside of here. Now you can see here, I can't move my character and I can also see the head of my character. And remember, we actually removed the head. So this is a bug. So if we go to the player and I just want to check my code, if you click on the player base, it is, if you go to the event graph, it is showing my head. Remember in the begin play, we remove the head and we can also not control the player. So I have a suspicion that this code here, the movement code and the hiding the head is not running because if I play and click counter charge, you can see I can see my head. This code is not running, and this one as well is not running because I can't really move my character. And I believe it's because you can actually just print a string here. So if I print the string, and again, print the string is really powerful. So it should say hello here. And if it does that, I know my code is running here. So if I click on my counter terrorist, you can see it's not saying hello. But if I connect it to the not valid, so if I just disconnect it, put it to not valid, just like that, and I can reconnect this again. I click on play, and now it says hello. So it's actually saying that this is not valid. Now, in multiplayer, you have to know that you have to give the player a bit of time for them to spawn because it is not like single player. They take some time to spawn into the server. So, or connect to the server. So you have to drag from this and let's say delay. Sometimes that actually fixes the problem. So if I just add a delay, and not really a big one, just by 0.01, so very, very low. Go ahead and compile. And now if I click on play, select the counter terrorist, now you can see I can move my character and my head is gone as well. So actually the only thing that we needed here is to add this delay because when you connect to the network on the server, you have to have a very, very small delay to make the player actually connect and then run this code. All right, so now as you can see here, everything is working great. However, you can see the mouse is disappearing every time I click on the screen and it's annoying. I have to select my other screen before I can actually click on the buttons and I have to click here before I can play. So you can see I have to click or actually minimize this and now I can click on the UI and I have to click again on the screen before I can move my character with the mouse. So we have to fix that, and we actually have to do that in the next lesson with something called an input mode that we have to set. So let's go over to the next lesson.